Скай, начинаем дискотеку, наблюдай.
This isn't just another video. It shows a reality that needs to be seen and understood. The Ukraine-Russia war continues to affect countless lives, but content like this often doesn't reach as many people as it should due to limited exposure on YouTube. Your support can make a real difference. If this video had an impact on you, take a moment to like it and drop a comment sharing where you're watching from. Small actions like these help the algorithm recognize its value and push it to a broader audience. By engaging, you're helping raise awareness and keep more people informed about what's happening. The view opens from a first-person perspective in the southern direction, low, close, and immediate. There's no wide overview, no safe distance. Just the ground ahead, the sound of movement, and the tension that builds before anything even begins. Then action. Mortar crews start working. Tubes are set, angles adjusted, and within seconds, rounds are launched. You don't see where they land right away, but you feel it. Moments later, impacts echo across the distance, shaking the ground and signaling that the engagement has begun. On the ground, infantry move in sync with those strikes, short bursts forward, quick stops, constant scanning. They use every bit of cover available, staying low, weapons ready. Every step is deliberate, every movement controlled because exposure, even for a second, can change everything. Then comes the shift, tanks enter the fight, their presence changes the tempo instantly. Heavy firepower begins to hit enemy positions, rounds impacting with force that reshapes the terrain itself. Structures break apart, defensive points weaken, and pressure builds across the entire front. And through it all, the perspective stays locked in first person. You're not watching from afar, you're in it. The coordination between mortars, infantry, and armor becomes clear. Each element supports the other, creating constant pressure that doesn't allow the enemy to recover. And as the engagement builds, layer by layer, it becomes clear this is only the beginning. The rhythm tightens with every passing second. Mortar fire adjusts, walking impacts closer to shifting targets. Infantry react instantly, pushing when openings appear, pulling back when the pressure rises. The tanks keep firing, maintaining that constant weight on enemy positions. Everything stays connected. Every move feeds the next. And in this kind of fight, even a single hesitation can turn the balance in the sector around Mianoret and Rezino. The situation escalates fast. Ukrainian defense forces operating within the responsibility zone of the Azov brigade detect a growing threat. Multiple armored units moving with intent. This isn't a routine movement. It's an offensive push. A formation of heavy equipment, infantry fighting vehicles, MTLBs, and tanks begins advancing toward key positions. The objective is clear: push through and seize ground, with the main effort focused on Shakhov. But the advance doesn't go uncontested. Defensive positions are already active. Observation quickly turns into engagement. Fire is directed at the incoming formation before it can fully deploy. The first impacts begin to disrupt movement, forcing vehicles to slow, adjust, and break formation. What was meant to be a coordinated push starts to fragment under pressure, and once that disruption begins, it spreads. More strikes follow, precise and timed. Infantry fighting vehicles are hit, one after another. Armored personnel carriers attempt to reposition, but the pressure continues. Even tanks built to endure are forced into reactive movement instead of pushing forward. The battlefield begins to shift. What started as an organized assault turns into a struggle to maintain momentum. Losses begin to add up, vehicles destroyed, movement reduced, coordination weakened. And as the pressure continues to build, the outcome of the engagement is still unfolding. The advance slows even further. Damaged vehicles block routes, forcing others to reroute or stop completely. The formation loses its shape, turning into scattered elements trying to find space to move. Every attempt to push forward meets resistance. Every pause increases exposure. Momentum is gone, replaced by hesitation. And in that hesitation, the balance begins to shift, because out here, once an offensive loses its rhythm, regaining control becomes a fight of its own. The operation begins with a coordinated push, A combined group moving as one. Infantry from the platoon link up with combat engineers and anti-tank specialists, each element bringing a specific role into the mission. The objective is clear: move into the bridgehead already secured by assault troops from the 1st Mechanized Battalion and hold it. Not just occupy, but fortify, secure, and prepare for whatever comes next. Movement is fast, direct. 2 M113 armored personnel carrier vehicles carry the group forward, advancing alongside the 1st Platoon's assault element. The ground ahead has already seen fighting, but that doesn't make it safe. It just means the next phase is beginning. As they move into the bridgehead, every second matters. This is the window where positions are taken, defenses are built, and control is established. Then, disembark. Boots hit the ground. The transition from movement to position happens instantly. There's no delay. The task is clear: dig in, secure the sectors cleared by the assault group, and prepare to hold. Tools come out, positions are identified. The process of turning open ground into something defensible begins. But the battlefield doesn't wait, only minutes pass, and then everything changes. The first strike hits. One of the M113s triggers an anti-tank mine. The explosion is sudden, violent, tearing through the vehicle and turning it from transport into wreckage in an instant. There's no warning, no time to react, just impact. Before the situation can even settle, a second threat appears. An FPV drone closes in fast, targeting the remaining M113. It strikes with precision, damaging the vehicle and leaving it exposed. And then, almost immediately, a follow-up. An air-launched anti-tank guided missile from a Ka-52 locks on impact. The second M113 is destroyed. In a matter of moments, both vehicles are gone. What started as a coordinated insertion turns into a sudden fight for survival on foot. The plan shifts instantly. There's no fallback to vehicles, no rapid repositioning, only the ground, the terrain, and whatever cover can be found. The reality sets in fast. This is no longer just about securing a position. It's about holding it under pressure, without the support that just moments ago was still there. And as the dust settles around the destroyed vehicles, the situation is only beginning to unfold. The shock of the strikes lingers for only a moment, then training takes over. There's no time to process what just happened, only time to react. The group spreads out immediately, creating distance, reducing the risk of another strike taking out multiple positions at once. Engineers drop low, scanning the ground for additional threats, because where there's one mine, there's often more. Every step now carries weight. Every movement is deliberate. Infantry shifts into defensive posture, weapons up, eyes scanning. Cover becomes everything: craters, debris, even the wreckage of the destroyed vehicles now serving a purpose they were never meant for. The same machines that brought them in are now part of the terrain, part of the fight. Above, the threat doesn't disappear. The presence of the Ka-52 changes how everything is done. Movement slows, exposure is minimized. Every open step is a risk. The sound of rotors, or even the possibility of them, keeps everyone alert, ready to react again at any moment. And then there are the drones, small, fast, constant, the kind that can appear with little warning and strike just as quickly. Eyes aren't just on the ground anymore, they're in the sky too. Every shadow, every sound, every shift in the air matters. Despite all of it, the mission doesn't stop. Positions still need to be secured. The bridgehead still needs to be held, so they adapt. Fighting positions are dug in under pressure, not in calm conditions. Engineers work fast, clearing what they can, marking what they can't. Anti-tank specialists reposition, preparing for the possibility of armored threats pushing back toward the area. Everything becomes layered. Defense begins to set, coupling within coupling. Because now, with no margin for error, communication stays tight, short, direct, focused. No unnecessary words, just execution of the seconds. Everyone understands the shift. What was planned is gone. What remains is execution under pressure. And slowly the chaos begins to take shape. Not calm, but controlled. Positions start to form. Fields of fire are established. Awareness spreads across the entire sector. Because even after losing both vehicles, the objective hasn't changed. Hold the ground. Secure the sector.